XIII, Guten Morgen, turkey, duck, other creatures, mankind everywhere. This is the second video of Leviticus number 13. We last discussed the quick flesh, also called the living flesh, the infestation of leprosy with these spots. So the judgment, if I have this, by the priest will dub me as being polluted and will repute me as being unclean with the living flesh or the quick flesh. And if it be spotted with leprosy, as previously discussed, with the discolorations and the indentation of the skin, I'll be called unclean. And again, if it turns into whiteness and covers my entire body, the priest will view me and will judge me to be clean if it's turned into whiteness. Now, the flesh and the skin where a boil is risen, a boil, and healed, and in place of the boil there appears a white scar or somewhat reddish. I'll be brought to the priest, and the priest will see the place of the leprosy. Remember, it's lower than the rest of the skin, and my hair turned into whiteness. I'll be contaminated. He'll contaminate me. For the plague of leprosy is risen in the boil. But if my hair is of the old color and the scar somewhat obscure, but not lower than the adjacent flesh, I'll be shut up for 7 days. If it grows even more, even further, priest will judge me to have the leprosy. But if it stays in its place, and it's a scar of a boil, I'll be considered clean. So it all depends. That's why they call it the living flesh, if it keeps moving. But if it remains stagnant, the priest takes all of this into consideration, not by the wisdom of a doctor, but this is the wisdom of who he has given directly to Moses and Aaron and the priests. Can you imagine physicians today, if they believe significantly in the realm of the Holy Ghost and were told how to treat a particular illness or a disease? Imagine it would be like that if only we would have remained what was began with our brothers and sisters of old Israel, of the descendants of beautiful Saint Jacob. If the color of my hair hasn't changed, and the blemish, again, is lower than the rest of the flesh, and the form itself, the leprosy, is considered somewhat obscure, I'll be shut up for 7 days. And the 7th day, the priest will behold me, and if the leprosy is grown harder in the skin, I'll be contaminated. But if the whiteness remains in place, see, remaining in place, and not very clear, it is the plague of a burning. And therefore, I'll be cleansed, because it is the scar of a burning, a heated sensation within your body where it feels warm. Man or woman in whose head or beard the leprosy rises, the priest will see it. And if the place is lower than the rest of the flesh and the hair yellowish, and thinner even, the priest will contaminate them, the man and the woman, or him or her, because it is the leprosy of the head or the beard. So the parts of the beard will fall off or thin, as well as the hair. You can sort of relate it towards radioactive therapy, all along the same lines. But if the priest perceives that the place of the spot is equal with the adjacent flesh and the hair black, he'll shut me up 7 days, and the 7th day he'll look upon it. And if the spot is not grown and the hair is the same color, my color would be black, and the place of the plague, even with the other, is all even. There's no indentation of the flesh. I'll be saving the place of the spot, and I'll be shut up another 7 days. Now, if the 7th day, the plague seems to have stayed, remained in its place, hasn't aggrandized any, I'll no more seek whether the hair be changed into a yellow color, because it is evidently unclean. If the spot be stayed and the hair be black, I'm healed. If the spot be stayed, doesn't grow anymore, remains in place, nothing's happening with it, and my hair remains its color of the black there, I'm healed, and I will be boldly pronounced clean, boldly by the priest. Man or woman and whose skin appears whitish, somewhat obscure, shiny in the skin. It's not leprosy, the priest will tell me. It isn't leprosy, but a spot of white color. And again, I would be considered clean. I already cheated on this, but if the hair falls from my head, become bald and clean, and if the hair falls from my forehead, I am bald before and clean. I don't have any hair, I'm a bald person. But if the baldness or the baldness before be risen a reddish color or a white color, the priest will perceive this, and he'll condemn me undoubtedly of having leprosy, which is risen in the baldness. So even without hair, the priest has the guidance from the auspices of XIII to judge whether a person has leprosy or not. Now, whoever will be defiled with leprosy when separated at the order of the priest, the arbitrament of the priest. My clothes will be hanging loose, my head bare, my mouth will be covered with the cloth, and I'm to cry myself polluted and unclean. 4 things. So if I am defiled with leprosy, and I'm separated from the rest, 4 things. Clothes are to hang loose, not tight against the body, loosely, nothing tucked in. My head is to be bare, nothing on top of it. My mouth is to be covered with a mask, a cloth, and I am to inform everyone I am polluted and unclean. Anyone coming near my residence, or if I need to go get some food, there'll be a cart set aside for those with leprosy, and if someone's coming near, I am to inform them I am polluted and unclean. At this time when I am considered a leper and unclean, again, I am to dwell alone outside of the rest of the Moses train outside of the camp. A wool or a linen garment that tainted with leprosy in the warp or in the wool or else on the skin or whatsoever is made of any skin of an animal. If it be white or has red spots on it, it shall be, the garment will be reputed as being infected with leprosy, and it must be shown to the priest. The priest will look at it, consider it, shut the articles of clothing up for 7 days, just like it does for the humans. On the seventh day, we take a look at it, and if he finds that it has spread, it has grown on the articles of clothing, it is leprosy that is continuing, and the garment will be judged by the priest as being polluted, and everything that touches it or that it's around will be burnt with fire. This time, Kuyas doesn't use water to remove an element, to cleanse something. He uses the power of fire because of this disease of uncleanliness. But if it hasn't grown on the article, the priest will command and they'll wash it and where the leprosy is, and they'll shut it up another 7 days. And he sees that the old shape has not returned, and the leprosy is not grown anymore, any further. He shall judge it still as being unclean, and it will be burnt with fire. For that is the leprosy spread outside of the garment, or through the whole article of, as it were. But if the place of the leprosy in the article of clothing is somewhat obscure after the garment is washed, it'll be broken off and divided from which is sound from the rest of it. And if besides those places that were there without spot, there appear a wandering or a flying leprosy, it must be burnt with fire. Now if it stops, if it be ceased, he shall wash it with water, the parts that are pure, that are uninfected, the second time, and it will be considered clean. This is the 10th law of Moses, the law of leprosy, of wool and linen garments, of the wool and of the warp and all the stuff of skins, how it ought to be cleansed or contaminated. Again, this is the law of leprosy, of woolen and linen garment, of the warp and the woof, and all the stuff of the skins, no matter what animal it comes from, how it should be cleansed or contaminated. And this brings us to a closure of Leviticus number 13. When we next meet, we shall delve into Leviticus 14, when we're going to talk about the rite of a leper when he is to be cleansed, and what offerings to Kuyas are to be made. And so until next we meet, please don't keep this to yourself. I know it's a bit complicated talking about leprosy when you know nothing about it. But again, don't keep leprosy in your mind when you're looking over this. You're looking at the fact of what it represents, which is uncleanliness. Pax Vobis.